for Carmelitas. I have adapted this recipe to make it gluten-free, dairy-free, and it just happens to be egg-free, which is a bonus. This is a great gift-giving recipe, so I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that whenever we get a little farther in, but for right now, let's get started making some caramel gooey bars. So I've already mixed the mixture together. This is my 5th time making it. But in the process, I figured I would go ahead and share with you what I do. So in the bowl, I have our gluten-free 1-to-1 flour, and this is great because you can also use the all-purpose flour that we have, but this is what makes it gluten-free. And then I also have our quick cooking oats, and I have brown sugar, I have some baking soda, and I have salt. That all goes into the bowl, whisk it together, and then I take a 1.5 cups of butter and I cut it into cubes and put that in there one by one. It's a process, which is why I'm sparing you, but it comes together and it looks like this. So it's this beautiful crumble mixture. We have chunks of butter and chunks of oats. So this, you're gonna take half of this batch and you're gonna pour it into a parchment-lined baking sheet. And you just have to eyeball it. It's not anything that you have to be super precise about. You're just reserving the other half to go on the top. So I take half of it. It smells so good. The brown sugar, the oatmeal. And put that back down. And you just kind of spread it around. You can also use your hands on this, but it's really easy. And you don't have to be super precise, and you don't have to press too terribly hard. It is gonna bake down, and it's gonna form this really lovely crust on the bottom that kind of a trick that I do too is make sure that you push a little bit up on the sides to keep some of that caramel and the chocolate in. Okay, so from here, that easy, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it in a 350-degree oven and bake this off for 15 minutes. And then we'll come back and see what happens. Okay, so our bottom layer has come out of the oven. It was in there for 15 minutes. It is now this beautiful golden brown and it's all come together, so it's our base layer. At this point, I'm gonna take my dairy-free caramel and I'm going to take a little bit of flour. This is about 1/3 cup of flour, and I'm gonna mix this together. And what this does is when it bakes, it forms this really lovely caramel layer that's more candy-like and less syrup-like, which holds it all together. And I'm stirring it in. I'm gonna be super careful not to spill it everywhere, which, you know, y'all know already. I have to spill or it's not me creating in the kitchen. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my favorite allergen-friendly chips and I'm just gonna sprinkle the whole bag on here. It's time for caramel. One more good stir, and then you're just gonna pour it over the top. Oh. Okay, and from here, I'm gonna take the rest of my topping and spread it on there. I'm gonna use my hands for this. Just feel better getting it all over there. Now this you do want to make sure you get all over it just so that it covers the top, because this is going to be that top layer that holds everything together. I'm trying not to lick my lips too terribly much on this. Because I am excited. Okay, So from here, this is gonna go back in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. It really just depends on how, you don't want it to brown too terribly much, but you wanna make sure that it sets. And it will set up a little bit more once it cools too, but. All right, it is time to bake this off. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Our gooey bars have come out of the oven. They are still nice and warm and gooey. Like I said, I've made 5 batches now. This is what they look like when you cut them up. You have that nice gooey layer of caramel and the chocolate and this crispy crumble layer from the oatmeal. Oh, so good. Another fantastic thing about this particular recipe that I love to do is I use it for gifts. Either the final product, which if you are shipping to people, definitely use some disposable containers and bake them off in there and don't slice them. These get better as they sit because all those flavors just come together and just make everything nice and ooey and gooey and fantastic. But also if you have friends that love to bake, or if you, especially during the pandemic, if you want to just put the ingredients together so that they can finish it off, a nice baking dish always works with just your little container of caramel. And then I layered up the 1-to-1 flour, the oatmeal, and the brown sugar. And then I gave them my little, my favorite chocolate chips. And then just some utensils make for a fun extra to the gift. So I hope you've enjoyed this as much as I have, and I hope you give them a try. If you do, let me know what you think. And until next time,